Greetings, good morning, and welcome to Mind the Moment, brought to you today and always by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. These sessions, which take place every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at this time, are a way for us to provide amazing mindfulness instructors to you to practice together, and also to hear from you about your own mindfulness journeys. How are they going? Where are you hoping to get, and how can we help you to get there? So I'm Jon Roberts, sitting in for your usual host, Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and it is Thursday, March 31st, 2022, which is Cesar Chavez Day, so proclaimed by President Barack Obama in 2010. Cesar Chavez was born on this day in 1927, went on to distinguish himself as a civil rights activist and a co-founder of the United Farm Workers Union. Chavez said, quote, "We must understand that the highest form of freedom carries with it the greatest measure of discipline," end quote. Now, this, in my opinion, is great advice, not just for anybody who is trying to change the world, but for anybody who's trying to change themselves, especially if they are doing so in order to be better prepared to change the world around them. And let me humbly submit that mindfulness meditation may be one way that we can inch ourselves a little bit closer to that inner freedom, and no more so than when we pursue it with a spirit of rigor and discipline. Now, here to discuss what that might mean in practice is none other than the founder of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare's and Tufts Health Plan's mindfulness program, Ms. Tara Healey. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, John. Wonderful intro, and good morning, everyone. So happy you're here.
Now, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We want to make sure everyone feels welcome and more than able to let us know what's on your mind. So please open up the chat box. Use that to send us any questions or thoughts that arise. And Tara, I'm wondering if there might be a question you'd like the group to offer their thoughts on this morning.
Yeah. For all of you on this call, on this Zoom this morning, know that, mindfulness, as it's often said, is simple but not easy. So mindfulness and mindfulness meditation is simple but not easy. That it's a pretty challenging practice. And along the way, one of the things that my teachers have said numerous times is it's always helpful because of how challenging this practice can be at times. And of course, at times it's not, it's okay, but it's, keeping a regular disciplined practice is challenging. So along the way, my teachers have said, it's always good to reconnect with why you practice, just from time to time, going back to like, why am I doing this? Like, what is this? What is the reason that I'm setting aside this time daily or daily-ish to practice mindfulness meditation? So that's really my question for all of you. And we'll start with John, but.
Oh, okay. Well, folks, wait, why do you practice mindfulness meditation? Meanwhile, well, if I was trying to be humorous, I'd say it's because that's what I get paid to do. But if I was trying to be encouraging, I would say, I practice mindfulness so I can listen more closely to the better angels of my nature in every moment. I think if I was trying to be relatable, I would say I practice mindfulness meditation in order to be a better father to my son. But if I was being completely honest, I think I would say I practice it because it helps me to not obsess about my own mortality every second of the day. Would love to know what other people think. Tara, maybe I can turn that back to you.
Yeah, no, I will say, and we'd love to, if you want to put it in the chat, that'd be great. Yeah, and I mean, I think as you pointed out, John, it's never just one reason. And I think, for me, that this is an ancient practice that's been around for a couple thousand years. And over the years, working with teachers and seeing what this practice can offer has been inspiring to me. But I think more personally, because I always think about like we are like scientists and the subject as well. And so what I see is that it helps me to connect in with my motivation and intention for things that I say or do, to understand better the nature of my own mind so that I can learn from that and then employ that skillful way in the service of my life. And to also see more clearly when I say or do something that I wish I didn't say or do, that I have regret, to also see that and how that feels. So, and to not believe everything I think, to just to see more clearly the nature of my mind. But the added benefit is that it's you get to see the nature of mind in general. Our content's different, but the compassion that comes from that is super helpful. That understanding causes and conditions. I mean, there's so many things. So
that's a beautiful response, Tara. So I see Susan here says, practices for health benefits, also enjoys the increased perception of the world around her. Erin says she enjoys practicing mindfulness for many reasons, feels better about herself, also relates better to others, including close relationships, spouse and children. Understand that. Someone says, practice mindfulness because it has allowed me to not react to things, rather respond, I imagine, and appreciate more of the many emotions that arise. Someone says they practice to come back to their truest self, the one who views love versus anything else. It's wonderful. Someone else says they practice to come out of their head, to ground themselves. That was very wonderful. Thank you, folks, for joining in there with that. So, if I may, Tara, you and I were both very excited because we're going to be having Amishi Jha joining us very soon. So I'll bring the slide back. I just want everyone to get a nice view there of Amishi at work. So here's the deal. So Amishi, if you don't know, she's a neuroscientist, mindfulness researcher, author, all-around excellent human being. So she'll be joining Suzanne and Tara on this very program on Thursday, May 12th, 8:30 a.m. She'll also be joining Tara and me during one of the episodes of a 4-part interactive web series, which we'll be doing on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. in May and June. And you can find out more about that by visiting harvardpilgrim.org/livingwellatHome. Best of all of these wonderful appearances by Amishi are going to be wrapped up inside this 4-week meditation challenge that will be running between May 16th and June 10th. Now, that challenge is based in Amishi's research, which suggests that 12 minutes of meditation, 5 days a week for 4 weeks, is enough to show measurable changes in the brain, and that the best way to lock in those changes is to do a variety of meditation practices. So let me just bring up that we're going to bring up that slide one more time so folks can sort of take note of that website, harvardpilgrim.org/livingwellatHome. We'll be mentioning this many times between now and May, but just in case you want the most update information, that's a great place to go. Now, Tara, in a moment, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind leading us in one of the meditations that Amishi describes in her book. She calls it the Find Your Flashlight meditation. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you could start by telling us, what is this flashlight and why are we trying to find it?
Yes. Yeah. So first of all, I just want to kind of underscore everything Jon just said. We're so excited that Dr. Jha has agreed to work with us and to please tell friends and family to join in on, is it May 12th, Jon? Is that the Thursday? I think it is. Yeah, so May 12th, it'll be Suzanne and I with Amishi. So in her book, Peak Mind, the first practice that she talks about is called Find Your Flashlight, as Jon said. And that's really a lot of what we've been doing in these sessions anyway. It's basically and more narrow. It's like, think about when you use a flashlight, you are kind of honing in on something to highlight that particular thing, right? To the exclusion of things around it. I mean, knowing there are things around it, but you're really highlighting, you're like aiming and sustaining your attention on something like breath sensation. It could be another body sensation, because I always tell people if you're having trouble with breath, if you have a cold or if there's something going on, you could take your hands and place them on a table in front, or you could place them on your thighs. Use that point of contact. You could isolate a sound. So in a way, it's like you're aiming and sustaining that beam of light on a body sensation, whether it be breath or another body sensation, or you're aiming and sustaining, shining that light on sound to the exclusion of other things. And so it's a way to really just help us to remember. So she talks about 4 different types, but find your flashlight is just more of an aim and sustain, highlight a particular thing in your field of awareness. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kick off the practice with a body scan, but using our flashlight to go through various regions of the body. And then we're going to land on either breath sensation or another body sensation with isolated, where we're just going to keep that flashlight beam on that particular thing. So
Tara, can I ask for one point of clarity, if you don't mind?
Yes.
So we're saying this is the find your flashlight meditation, but am I correct that this is really a foundational meditation practice that folks might have some familiarity with already?
That's right. And we've been doing with this is a lot of what we've been doing anyway. We're calling it what Amishi calls it. So to familiarize you with these terms, and when she comes in May. So we've been doing it. We're just all we're doing. It's just highlighting a particular body sensation or sound, and we're aiming and sustaining our attention and keeping it there.
Great. And so about 12 minutes? Is that?
Yeah, about 12 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Tara. Let's do it.
Yes. All right. So settle into the posture that feels like it's going to serve you best this morning. And if you're really sleepy, tired, standing is a fine posture. So you could stand or sit. And on your own, take 2 deep breaths as a way to settle in and settle any surface tension. So deep inhalation through your nose, double the length of the exhalation. See if you can surrender your weight into the support of the surface that you're on, knowing that you'll be held by the earth below. So you can literally drop your weight in, yet maintain a spine that is straight but not stiff, holding your body in a way that is engaged and alert, yet at the same time relaxed. So see if you can soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. And we're going to move the flashlight fairly quickly through various regions of the body, just noticing what's there, softening to the degree that you can. And then we'll land with either breath or sound or another body sensation. So starting kind of at the top of the head, isolating this part of the body in your field of awareness, highlighting the top of the head. Moving down along the sides of the head and the back of the head, coming around to the face, kind of highlighting the eyes, softening the cheeks, the nose, the jaw, include the tongue, sort of soften, highlight this area. And moving that light down around the neck and the shoulders. Upper arms, elbows, forearms, and hands. Coming now to the torso, and so the front of the body, the back of the body, softening. Moving awareness now to the hips and thighs. The knees, the lower legs, and the feet. And releasing that. And just beginning to notice the rhythm of your breath, just as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Using the flashlight to see where is the sensation strongest or easiest to connect with for you. So that might be the rise and fall of the abdomen and the sensations that you notice. Could be the area around the chest, perhaps the nostrils. So it could be a really narrow beam of light around the nostrils, air going in, air going out. And again, it's feeling what that feels like as opposed to thinking about it. And as always, you could use sound or you could use another body sensation. It could be the points of contact with the back of the body and the surface that you return to each time the mind wanders. So wandering is all part of it. The mind is going to go off as soon as you notice. Soft mental note thinking. You could be more specific if you'd like planning or regretting or thinking. It keeps it really simple. Soften the body. There's always a contraction when thoughts slip in unnoticed. Soften the body and then return to whatever you're using to anchor and steady attention. Noticing where the mind is. Soft mental note, soften the body. Reorient the flashlight to whatever you're using to help anchor and steady attention. And again, noticing where the mind is thinking, softening the body, and reconnecting with your anchor. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may we wish the same for all of those known and unknown to us. If your eyes were closed and you feel ready, you can open the eyes. And if they were open but gaze downward, take a moment to reorient to the room that you're in. And
Thank you, Tara, for that. Tara, can I tell you what I love about this practice?
yeah,
Yeah. So I like that it's not saying that our attention somehow isn't good enough, right? I think it's probably the case all of our attention is already excellent, but it's just that sometimes we have that attention pointed in the wrong direction for what the moment at hand might be calling for. And I think this is probably especially true if we get into the habit of attending in a particular way. And so I want to tell you what this made me think of. There's this book that I read to my son called Goodnight Gorilla, which was written by Peggy Rathman. This is about a security guard at a zoo who is really skilled at keeping his flashlight pointed in one direction. But because that's his habit, he misses the new information that the baby gorilla has snuck out of his cage and is walking directly behind him, just outside his flashlight's beam. And so, I think with a practice like this, as I understand it, it's not like about keeping your attention rigidly pointed in one direction, but about seeing where your attention is pointed and where it has the tendency to go, so that in any moment you have the wherewithal to sort of shake yourself out of your, out of maybe your rigid state, and instead ask, are there other things I'm missing because I'm, not paying attention to the full spectrum of things and information around me?
Yeah, it's a really, really good point, John. I think what the flashlight gives us, because it's like we're setting aside time to practice. And then we're employing that in the service of our day-to-day life. So we're each time we practice, we're gaining more facility in what to highlight and what's not important, and then there's a broader range of awareness like you're pointing to as well, which is also part of what Amishi talks about too. So we're actually employing these qualities of mind in the service of our lives so that we're seeing more clearly what we need to be seeing.
So Tara, I'm noticing somebody in the chat box is asking how they can communicate with us so that they can get more information directly about the Amishi challenge. I think that's a great idea. I'm going to put in the chat box here. Let me just change the.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Celebrating 1 year. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
So the best email is going to be MindtheMoment at point32health.org. I think I got that right. And if you would send us your email, if you're interested in receiving information directly, we'll make sure to get that to you. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Kristen, I'm also seeing your initially fighting the silence and then relaxed into it. And yeah, like the trust in this practice is so helpful, so incredibly helpful. And to be with the discomfort of silence, like that's where you want to like hone the flashlight on when you feel the unsettledness of the silence or the stillness, and move from a narrative of fear into one of, opening, turning toward feeling, fully experiencing. So if it is fear, to fully feel it.
All right, so we'll make sure to keep mentioning things related to Amishi's work and the Peak Mind Challenge as it gets a little bit closer. In the meantime, as all good things do come to an end, I have the always bittersweet job of bringing us to our close here. But please do join us again on Tuesday, April 5th, this coming Tuesday, when Suzanne Rowe Palacino will be back, and she'll be joined by another one of our wonderful meditation instructors. Until then, Tara, any closing thoughts you'd like to leave us with today? Yeah,
well, I would say, find your flashlight. So as you move throughout the day, being aware of what it is that you're doing, and use it to guide you, to support you, so it helps you align with your own values.
Thank you for that, Tara, and for all of your guidance this morning. And thank you everyone for joining and your participation. We hope to see you again next week. Until then, please do have a momentous day.